Michigan has many haunted villages filled with ghostly legends and eerie stories. Old mining towns, forgotten lumber settlements, and quiet lakeside villages are said to be haunted by spirits of miners, sailors, and settlers who never found peace. Shadows, strange lights, and mysterious sounds often appear in these places. Each haunted village carries a chilling reminder of Michigan's dark and mysterious past, keeping its spooky history alive for those who dare to explore. Now we will visit the most haunted villages in Michigan. Number 1. Calumet. Calumet, a small village in Michigan's Upper Peninsula, is often called the most haunted place in the state. Once a thriving mining town, it was filled with hope, hard work, and thousands of people searching for a better life. But behind its history of copper mining lies tragedy, sorrow, and stories of restless spirits that many believe still wander its streets today. The most famous haunting of Calumet is tied to the Italian Hall disaster of 1913. During a Christmas Eve party for miners and their families, someone shouted fire inside the crowded hall, even though there was no fire. In the panic, people rushed toward the exit, only to find the doors difficult to open. More than 70 people, most of them children, were crushed to death that night. Locals say the cries of children can still be heard near the site of the old hall, and ghostly figures sometimes appear in the shadows as if reliving that tragic moment. Beyond the Italian Hall, the entire village carries an eerie atmosphere. Visitors report seeing phantom miners wandering near the ruins of old shafts, carrying lanterns that flicker and vanish into the night. Some claim to feel cold spots or hear the distant sounds of pickaxes echoing underground. Abandoned buildings, crumbling with age, only add to the ghostly presence that seems to cling to Calumet. Today, Calumet looks like a quiet village frozen in time, but for those who know its history, it is far from silent. The spirits of its past still walk among the living, making Calumet one of Michigan's most haunted and unforgettable villages. Number 2. Lake Linden. Lake Linden, a small village in Michigan's Upper Peninsula, may seem calm and peaceful today, but its haunted past tells a very different story. Once a lively mining community, it has become known as one of the most terrifyingly haunted villages in the state. Its ghostly reputation comes from a series of chilling stories that locals still whisper about. One story speaks of the Great Fire that swept through the village in the late 1800s, destroying blocks of homes and businesses. Many people died in the flames, and some claim their spirits never left. Residents say they sometimes smell smoke in the air or hear screams echoing as if the fire is still burning. Another haunting comes from the old lakeshore, where strange glowing lights are often seen floating above the water. Fishermen say these are the restless souls of men who drowned in boating accidents, forever trying to return to shore. In an abandoned boarding house, once used by miners, visitors report hearing heavy boots stomping up the stairs and doors slamming shut, even though the building is empty. Many believe these are the miners who once lived there, still climbing to their rooms after long shifts underground. One eerie legend tells of a woman dressed in black who appears near the cemetery. Locals call her the Weeping Widow, believed to be mourning loved ones lost in mining accidents. Strange shadow figures are often spotted in the ruins of old factories. Witnesses describe tall, dark shapes moving quickly and vanishing into thin air. With so many ghostly stories, Lake Linden remains one of the most haunted villages in Michigan, where the past refuses to rest. Number 3. Copper Harbor. Copper Harbor, tucked away at the northern tip of Michigan's Calumet Peninsula, is known for its breathtaking beauty, but behind the calm waves and historic charm lies a darker side. Many call it one of the most haunted villages in Michigan, filled with ghostly legends and eerie tales passed down for generations. One chilling story comes from the waters of Lake Superior. Sailors who drowned in shipwrecks near Copper Harbor are said to return as glowing orbs of light dancing above the waves. On stormy nights, fishermen claim to hear ghostly cries carried by the wind. Another tale centers around Fort Wilkins, a historic military post. Visitors often report hearing marching footsteps and the clinking of swords when no one is there. Some believe the soldiers who once guarded the fort still patrol the grounds, never leaving their duty behind. Locals also speak of a phantom woman in white who wanders the shoreline. She is believed to be the spirit of a settler's wife who drowned after falling from a small boat. Her shadowy figure has been seen weeping along the rocky coast before vanishing into the mist. Deep in the nearby woods, strange whispers are often reported. Campers tell of feeling watched, and some even hear voices calling their names, though no one is around. Many connect these eerie experiences to ancient native spirits tied to the land. Lastly, an old lighthouse keeper is said to haunt Copper Harbor Lighthouse. People claim to see a man in old-fashioned clothes walking the tower at night, keeping watch over the dangerous waters. With its haunted waters, restless soldiers, ghostly apparitions, and eerie woods, Copper Harbor remains a place where beauty and terror walk hand in hand. Number 4. Ontonagon. Ontonagon, a quiet village on the southern shores of Lake Superior, carries a history filled with mystery, tragedy, and ghostly tales that have made it one of Michigan's most haunted places. Surrounded by dark waters, ancient forests, and the shadow of mining history, this village has become home to legends that chill the spine. One of the most famous stories is tied to the mysterious Ontonagon boulder, a massive copper rock once sacred to native tribes. Locals say spirits protect it, and anyone who disrespected the stone faced misfortune. Strange lights and ghostly figures have been seen near the area where the boulder once rested. Another tale tells of a shipwreck just off the Ontonagon coast. On stormy nights, people claim to see a phantom schooner battling the waves before vanishing without a sound. Some even hear the screams of sailors carried across the water. The old mining shafts around Ontonagon also carry eerie stories. Miners who died in accidents are said to linger underground. Visitors near the ruins sometimes hear the sound of pickaxes striking rock or muffled voices echoing in the earth. In the village cemetery, shadowy figures have been spotted moving between gravestones at night. Residents call one of them the Lantern Man, a glowing figure who drifts silently among the dead. Another legend speaks of a ghostly woman who appears on the beach, dressed in old-fashioned clothing, staring endlessly toward the horizon. Some say she's waiting for a sailor who never returned. Ontonagon may look peaceful today, but beneath its beauty lies a haunted history where spirits of the past refuse to rest. Number 5. Rockland. Rockland, a small village in Michigan's Upper Peninsula, carries the weight of its mining past and the restless spirits that never left. Once alive with copper mining, it is now remembered as one of the most haunted villages in Michigan, where ghostly stories continue to terrify locals and visitors alike. One of the most chilling tales comes from the Victoria mine. Miners who died in cave-ins are said to still wander the tunnels. People who explore the ruins often report hearing distant hammering and the sound of rocks falling, even though no one is inside. Another story speaks of phantom lanterns glowing in the woods near the village. These mysterious lights move slowly through the trees before vanishing. Some say they are the spirits of miners still trying to find their way home. The old Rockland schoolhouse is also said to be haunted. Locals tell of hearing children's laughter echoing through the empty building. Shadows have been seen darting across the windows, even though the school has long been abandoned. Near the cemetery, a dark figure known as the Watcher has been spotted standing silently among the graves. People say he follows anyone who enters after dark, disappearing only when confronted. Another terrifying legend tells of a woman in a tattered dress who appears on stormy nights along the village roads. Drivers have claimed she suddenly appears in front of their cars, only to vanish into thin air. With haunted mines, ghostly lights, phantom children, and mysterious apparitions, Rockland remains a place where the past is alive in terrifying ways, making it one of Michigan's most haunted villages. Number 7. Laurium. Laurium, a historic village in Michigan's Calumet Peninsula, is known for its grand old homes and rich copper mining past. But beneath its charming streets lies a haunted history that makes Laurium one of the most terrifying villages in Michigan. Ghostly tales, restless spirits, and chilling encounters are tied to its old mansions, hotels, and streets. One of the most famous hauntings is connected to the Laurium Manor Inn, a grand mansion built in the early 1900s. Guests have reported hearing footsteps in empty hallways, doors opening on their own, and the sound of a woman softly crying at night. Some even claim to have seen a figure looking out of the upstairs windows. Another story tells of the ghost of a young servant girl who once worked in one of the wealthy homes. Locals say her spirit still lingers, and strange noises in kitchens and basements are often blamed on her. At the old hospital in Laurium, eerie activity has also been reported. People have heard the echo of gurneys rolling down hallways and faint moans, even though the building has long been closed. Many believe spirits of patients remain within its walls. Residents also speak of a spectral carriage that appears on dark nights. Drawn by horses and carrying shadowy figures, it travels down the streets before vanishing suddenly into thin air. Another terrifying legend comes from the cemetery, where glowing lights and ghostly figures are often spotted moving between the gravestones. Some claim to hear whispers calling their names while passing through. With its haunted mansions, ghostly carriages, and restless spirits, Laurium remains one of Michigan's most haunted villages, where the past still refuses to sleep. Number 8. Phoenix. Phoenix, a tiny historic village in Michigan's Calumet Peninsula, may look like a quiet stop along the road today, but its ruins tell a much darker story. Once a booming copper mining community, Phoenix collapsed into silence when the mines closed. What remains are crumbling buildings, abandoned churches, and ghostly tales that make it one of Michigan's most haunted villages. One of the most chilling stories surrounds the old Church of the Assumption, one of the few structures still standing. Visitors have reported hearing church bells ringing even though the tower is silent. Some claim to see shadowy figures kneeling inside, praying long after the congregation disappeared. Another tale comes from the Phoenix Mill ruins. Locals say ghostly workers are still heard inside, with the sounds of grinding machinery echoing in the night. A few even claim to see silhouettes moving through the broken windows as if the mill never shut down. The cemetery nearby carries its own terrifying reputation. Strange glowing lights move between the headstones, and visitors have felt sudden cold chills even on warm evenings. Whispers are often heard, though no one is there. One legend speaks of a ghostly woman in white who wanders the village streets. Believed to be the spirit of a miner's wife who died tragically, she appears weeping and disappears into the ruins of the old homes. Another frightening story tells of phantom children's laughter near the remains of the schoolhouse. Travelers say they've heard giggles, running footsteps, and even seen small figures darting past, only to vanish. With haunted churches, eerie ruins, and restless spirits, Phoenix remains a ghost village where the past continues to haunt the present. Number 9. Baraga. Baraga, a small village on the shores of Lake Superior, is known for its rich native history, beautiful landscapes, and the towering shrine of Bishop Baraga. But beneath its peaceful surface lies a haunted side that has earned Baraga a place among Michigan's most terrifying villages. Its legends come from shipwrecks, old churches, sacred grounds, and chilling local encounters. One of the most well-known hauntings is tied to the shrine of Bishop Baraga. Visitors climbing the steps to the statues sometimes hear faint chanting in the wind, as if ghostly prayers linger in the air. Some even claim to see the shadow of a robed figure moving near the shrine at night. Another story comes from the shores of Lake Superior, where shipwrecks claimed many lives. Locals say a phantom schooner appears during storms, its sails glowing in flashes of lightning before disappearing. The cries of drowning sailors are sometimes heard on the crashing waves. The village cemetery holds its own dark legend. A glowing figure, believed to be a nun, is often spotted moving between the graves. Witnesses describe her as silent and sorrowful, carrying a lantern that vanishes as she fades into the night. In the nearby forests, hunters and campers have reported hearing drums and chanting at night. Many believe these sounds are spirits tied to the native tribes who once lived on the land, still protecting their sacred grounds. Another frightening tale speaks of a haunted rectory where footsteps, whispers, and slamming doors plague visitors. Some believe it is the restless spirit of a priest who died suddenly, unwilling to leave his post. With its haunted shores, sacred echoes, and ghostly figures, Baraga remains one of Michigan's most mysterious and chilling villages. Number 10. Eagle River. Eagle River, a small lakeside village in Michigan's Keweenaw Peninsula, is known for its breathtaking views of Lake Superior and its historic copper past. But behind the beauty lies a chilling reputation. Locals say Eagle River is one of the most haunted villages in Michigan, where shipwrecks, old inns, and forgotten graves have left behind restless spirits. One of the most terrifying tales is tied to the Eagle River Falls. People claim to hear ghostly cries in the roar of the water, believed to be from workers who fell to their deaths during the days when mills operated nearby. On misty nights, shadowy figures are said to appear at the edge of the falls before vanishing into the spray. Another story comes from the remains of old hotels and inns that once welcomed miners and travelers. Guests report hearing music, footsteps, and doors opening on their own in rooms that have been empty for decades. Some believe long-gone visitors still linger in the halls. The shoreline itself has its own hauntings. Locals tell of a ghost ship appearing on stormy waters, glowing faintly before sinking beneath the waves. The cries of lost sailors are said to echo across the beach. In the village cemetery, strange lights and figures are often seen drifting between gravestones. Some visitors say they've heard voices whispering their names, sending chills down their spine. Another eerie legend tells of a woman in black who roams the old mining ruins near Eagle River. Witnesses describe her face as pale and sorrowful, as though she is forever searching for someone she lost. With haunted falls, ghostly inns, and restless spirits of the lake, Eagle River proves that even the most scenic villages can be terrifyingly haunted. Number 11. Lance. Lance, a small village resting on the shores of Lake Superior, may appear calm and inviting, but its history tells a far darker story. Known for native legends, tragic shipwrecks, and eerie encounters, Lance has earned its place as one of the most haunted villages in Michigan. Behind its natural beauty lies a collection of ghostly tales that continue to terrify locals and visitors alike. One of the most chilling stories comes from the village cemetery. People have reported glowing figures drifting between the gravestones. Some claim to hear whispers calling their names, while others feel an icy chill brush past them, even on warm nights. Another haunting surrounds the shoreline of Lake Superior. Fishermen tell of seeing a phantom canoe gliding silently over the water. When they approach, it vanishes instantly, leaving only ripples behind. Many believe it carries the souls of drowned men. In one of the old churches, eerie activity has also been reported. Visitors say the sound of an organ plays on its own late at night. Others have claimed to see shadowy figures kneeling in the pews, long after the congregation has gone. Deep in the nearby forests, hikers have shared terrifying experiences of hearing drums and chanting. Locals believe these are the spirits of native tribes who once lived on the land, keeping their sacred presence alive. Another frightening tale comes from an abandoned inn, where guests have heard footsteps racing down empty hallways and doors slamming without reason. Some even claim to see a woman standing in the window, staring silently into the night. With its haunted shores, ghostly churches, and chilling spirits, Lance proves that even the most peaceful villages can hold terrifying secrets. Number 12. Ishpeming. Ishpeming, a historic mining village in Michigan's Upper Peninsula, has long been known for its rugged beauty and hardworking spirit. But behind its proud history lies a much darker side. Ishpeming is often called one of the most haunted villages in Michigan, with chilling stories of spirits tied to its mines, cemeteries, and old buildings. One of the most terrifying stories comes from the abandoned mine shafts that run deep beneath the village. Miners who lost their lives in cave-ins are said to still wander underground. People walking near the old sites report hearing the faint sound of pickaxes striking rock and voices echoing up from the earth. Another story surrounds Ishpeming's cemetery. Visitors claim to see strange glowing lights floating between the gravestones. Some even hear soft crying in the distance, believed to be spirits mourning lost loved ones. In one of the village's historic theaters, strange activity has been reported for years. Actors rehearsing alone have heard applause in empty seats, while others say they've seen shadowy figures sitting quietly in the audience before fading away. The forests surrounding Ishpeming also carry ghostly tales. Hunters and hikers have reported hearing footsteps following them, only to turn around and find no one there. Some describe hearing a man's voice whisper warnings in the wind. Another chilling legend tells of a woman in old-fashioned clothes who appears on the village streets late at night. Drivers say she suddenly steps into the road, causing them to slam their brakes, only for her to vanish before their eyes. With haunted mines, eerie cemeteries, and ghostly figures, Ishpeming remains a place where the past is never truly gone.